Hello everybody, my name is TJ and I'm here today talking with Alex Barhorst, aka A-Bar, the product lead for Hearthstone Esports. A-Bar is a former professional player. He's a former broadcast producer for Hearthstone Esports, and he even had a short-lived stint as a Hearthstone caster. A-Bar, why don't you explain what your new role is on the Hearthstone Esports team?
Thank you so much for your glowing introduction, TJ. I finally made it to the Hearthstone World Championship. My dream has come true. But yes, I mean, I've been participating and entrenched in Hearthstone Esports for 6 years now, from being a player, like you said, to a broadcast producer, and I am now the product manager for Hearthstone Esports, which means that I'll be driving a lot of the future strategy and planning around the program, including, of course, 2022.
Well, I do know there's a lot going on in 2022 and a lot of changes planned, but before we get into any details, why don't you explain some of the goals of the Hearthstone Esports team going into next year?
Yeah, so when I sort of took over and joined the Hearthstone Esports team, one of my sort of overarching goals was, how do we use Hearthstone Esports to create as many positive opportunities and experiences and make people's dreams come true as we can? And so you'll see that reflected in the way that we're sort of evolving the ecosystem going into 2022. You'll see a lot more democratization, including all the way at the top. We're going to have 16 total players participating in the Hearthstone World Championship in 2022, as well as an increased emphasis on the open circuit system.
Okay, well, some things to pick apart there. Let's start with the biggest event. Let's start with World Championship. You know, you said an expanded World Championship. What does the World Championship look like for 2022?
Yeah, so we'll have 16 total players, 4 of which will emerge from the Grandmasters ecosystem, 4 of which will come from the China Gold Series, and then the other 8 will actually come from the open circuit system. So through the Masters Tours, players will have the opportunity to qualify directly toward the Hearthstone World Championship, which is something that I know the community has been hungry for over the years, so we're happy to make that available.
Okay. All right. So we're currently watching World Championship right now, which is 8 players, 6 players from Hearthstone Grandmasters, and 2 players from the China Gold Series. Obviously, you said 4 players next year for 2022 are coming from Hearthstone Grandmasters. That's even less, with even more players competing. So what's the plan for Hearthstone Grandmasters going into 2022?
Yeah, so I know you and I personally, as well as so many of the fans out there, have shared a lot of happy moments and memories enjoying Grandmasters over the last few years. But going back to sort of my overarching philosophy of what I want to accomplish with Hearthstone Esports, it's creating opportunities for as many different Hearthstone players as I possibly can. And so the conclusion that we came to was, Hearthstone Grandmasters isn't the best way for us to accomplish that. And so what we're looking to do is phase that program out of the Hearthstone Esports ecosystem over the course of 2022 in order to open up more opportunities elsewhere.
Okay, so phasing out Hearthstone Grandmasters, what does phasing out mean? What does that look like for Grandmasters in 2022?
Yeah, so we'll still have 2 seasons of GM in 2022. The first one will look very similar to the seasons you're used to experiencing the last couple of years, with 48 players in total. And then at the end of that season, the winner of each of the 3 regions will qualify toward the Hearthstone World Championship. And then the top 4 competitors from the regular season finishers from each of the 3 regions will be invited to the Grandmasters last call. And so those 12 players will be joined by the top 4 competitors from the open circuit system, from the MTs, to form a 16-player, 1 global region, and then the winner of Grandmasters Last Call will be the 4th player from the Grandmaster system who is invited to the Hearthstone World Championship.
Okay, so the Grandmasters Last Call, 16 players, global, and this will be the last season of Grandmasters, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's going to be the last time we see Grandmasters, is that second season at the later part of next year?
That's it, man. The Grandmasters Last Call is our fond farewell to Hearthstone Grandmasters as we usher into a new world.
All right. Well, I can say that we have had some good times with it, and I look forward to those last couple seasons, to be quite honest with you. But, we could reminisce about Grandmasters all we want, but there's more details to get through. We have a limited amount of time, so I want to jump right into the next topic. What is happening with Masters Tours? You said that one of the main focuses of the Hearthstone Esports team is to put more emphasis on these open circuit events, and that's where Masters Tours kind of fits. So what is the plan for Masters Tours events going into next year?
Yeah, so we're still going to have 6 Masters Tours in 2022, the same way that we have for 2021. The big difference is those Masters Tours are now going to funnel into season championship events. So the first 3 Masters Tours of 2022 will qualify toward the Masters Summer Championship, and the second 3 will qualify toward the Masters Fall Championship. And so we'll have 16 players in each of those season championship events, and the 4 semifinalists that emerge from each of those 2 season championships will qualify directly to the Hearthstone World Championship. So that's how we'll get our 8 participants in total who are going directly from the open circuit system to Worlds next year.
Okay, so quick recap of World Championship spots. We have 4 players qualifying from Grandmasters, 3 from that first season and 1 from the Grandmasters Last Call. And then 8 players qualifying from the Masters Tour, which are 4 players from each of the seasonal championships. That makes 12. So I'm guessing the last 4 spots go to 4 players from the China Gold Series?
Correct, yes. A quarter of our competitors at the World Championship will emerge from the Gold Series circuit in China, the way that we've always reserved a quarter of our participation for the China region.
Okay, well, I can certainly say that all of these changes definitely excite me, but there's still one big elephant in the room, Abar. One of the biggest game modes for Hearthstone over the past couple of years has been missing from competitive Hearthstone, and that's Battlegrounds. And I know that you and some of the other members of the Hearthstone Esports team have been teasing on social media about possible Battlegrounds events for competitive Hearthstone in 2022, but is it actually happening?
Yeah, it wasn't just a giant troll. It is actually happening. I have the privilege and the honor to announce Battlegrounds Lobby Legends, which will be our competitive series of one-off events over the course of 2022, in which we will invite 16 players from across the globe, some of the top competitors from around the world, to participate in these Battlegrounds tournaments, and there will be $500,000 in total prizing committed to Battlegrounds in 2022.
Wow. Okay. So, big chunk of change going towards competitive Battlegrounds. You did mention 16 players for each of these one-off events of Battlegrounds Lobby Legends. How do those 16 players qualify? How are you determining, where these 16 players are coming from?
Yeah, so we are looking to invite top players from the ladder, and we will have a whole lot more information to share about that in the first couple months of 2022. We're just sort of iterating on some final plans around that, so stay tuned. We're very excited to announce a lot more information about Battlegrounds Lobby Legends after the turn of the year.
Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap just for my own sanity here. We've got competitive Battlegrounds in the form of Battlegrounds Lobby Legends. We've got 2 seasonal championships for the Masters Tours, with 6 Masters Tours still happening. An expanded World Championship, 16 players, and the sunsetting of Grandmasters. We're saying goodbye to Grandmasters at the end of the year next year. It's a lot. It's some pretty big changes. Am I missing anything here?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. I'm sure players will want a lot more information than that, so I will just say head on over to playhearthstone.com or go to the Hearthstone Esports Twitter page to get the blog post with a whole lot more information, the full announcement. And if you still have burning questions, we will have the hashtag HSE2022, which should be somewhere down there. And ask your questions and tag the hashtag HSE2022, and either I personally or a member of the Hearthstone Esports team will look to answer as many questions as we possibly can for you guys as we simultaneously enjoy the World Championship together.
All right. Well, I can say that I'm definitely looking forward to next year. There's a lot planned, and I myself am also looking forward to hearing more. So thanks so much, Abar, for taking the time to chat with me today about some of the new changes coming to competitive Hearthstone. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to the World Championship.